This is Adam Taxon with Jews for the Preservation of Firearms Ownership, JPFO. It is Tuesday, July 31st, 2012. As you know, because of the recent mass murder in Colorado and the start subtly of various so-called gun control efforts by Barack Obama and his allies, this is a particularly ideal time to get as up to speed as possible on the Second Amendment and on general liberty issues. Therefore, I'm continuing to post a lot of great Second Amendment education type pieces from our archives on our Jews for the Preservation of Firearms Ownership website. That's jpfo.org, and on our Facebook page, which you should join regardless of whether you're a paid member of our organization and regardless of whether you're Jewish. These are great short pieces. As you know, because you're listening now, I'm also providing audio versions on YouTube of these essential pieces. I'm aware many of you spend enough time each day staring at computer screens and can benefit from something you can listen to while driving, walking the dog, cooking dinner, etc. So here is the column, The 4 Steps Toward England. It's from it's by the late Kirby Ferris, who passed away just in June. Here is the 4 steps toward England. My ancestry hails from the British Isles. I am 100% Anglo-Saxon on both sides of my family. Nearly every Brit I've met in my travels was polite and often wonderfully witty. My father fought side by side with the Brits in the Pacific Theater in World War II, and his praise for their courage and honor was unbounded. I was raised an Anglophile, a person who truly appreciates the people and culture of Great Britain. However, I haven't yet visited Great Britain, and now by choice I never will. Because Great Britain has become the one nation on the entire globe that I hold in irrevocable contempt. Yes, even more than the tyrannies of Iran or Red China or the African despots. The Iranians, the Chinese, or the Somalis are transparent about what they are, impervious to democracy, and disinterested in the concepts and responsibilities of personal freedom. They are socially addicted to fanatic, religious, tribal, or age-old caste cultural dictatorship and ruthless strong-arm rule. In our lifetimes, the Iranians, the Chinese, and the Somalis will likely never know personal freedom. It is not in their mentalities, their culture, or within any context of any historical memory that any of them can relate to. Within their nations, they are immune to democracy and personal freedom, and so be it. That's just the way it is. But my fundamental grudge against England is that Great Britain has willfully chosen a degrading, cowardly, and immoral plummet into self-induced slavery and cultural suicide. They have chosen to destroy one of the most productive freedom-based cultures of the last 500 years. There are 4 steps that the Brits took toward cultural suicide, and America is not far behind. The 4 steps. Number 1. Socialism was America's initial step toward the, quote, English ideal. Thank the cultural Marxists, it's their blueprint, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the New Deal, and Lyndon Baines Johnson, the Great Society. An intriguing aside, the National Firearms Act of 1934 under FDR and the Gun Control Act of 1968 under LBJ. Coincidence? Number 2. Multiculturalism, which is far different from the Yankee melting pot assimilation ideal, is America's second step toward English pudding world. Recently, British Prime Minister Cameron declared that multiculturalism had failed. I'll leave that there. Even that socialist twit can finally see the forest through the trees. Number 3. Political correctness is the third step toward British moral and judicial perversity. In England, you go to jail for saying critical things about certain races, religions, ethnic groups, or sexual orientations that here in America are still legal, if only barely so. When hate language is illegal in America, this will no longer be America. Jailing for politically incorrect speech is right at our borders, friends. Number 4. Gun control is the 4th step toward the wondrous British system. The dependency upon government that began with socialism is now complete. The government will protect you. You don't need a gun. Surrender your firearms. Multiculturalism exacerbates tensions among the races and cultures, and these tensions breed a tendency toward violence. You still don't need a gun. Just let the cops wield even more power over all of us. Give the government even more power over the individual as an excuse to quell, quote, racial tension. So, to instill multicultural peace, surrender your firearms. And political correctness shuts us all up. The emperor has no clothes, but we have been so brainwashed and manipulated that none of us dare speak out with the truth. Guns are now bad. Our children are sent to a shrink for drawing a picture of a gun in school. Conflict resolution has taken the place of simply beating the daylights out of the bully on the schoolyard. This nation's liberals think self-defense is barbaric, macho, and Neanderthal. Surrender your firearms. Now look closely at this photo. This is the endgame of, quote, gun control. An innocent man is attacked and has no means of self-protection. This pitiful photograph was taken during the recent London riots. It says it all. This is the final fetid result of the nanny state that is now Great Britain. Do you think this event could ever happen in a constitutional carry state like Alaska, Vermont, Wyoming, or Arizona? Would this be even remotely possible if the thief understood that a robbery using deadly force could be met by the chance that this smaller, weaker fellow might be packing a Glock? Don't give me any cultural relativity blather regarding oppression and pent-up rage, or any of the other politically correct regurgitation used by the talking heads to excuse the rioting in London. Just answer the question. Could this happen in Arizona, Wyoming, Vermont, or Alaska? Could this happen in a state known for a high density of licensed concealed carry? Don't prevaricate with any, well, that depends, and other such blige. Yes or no? The British have been turned into insipid weaklings, from the sun never sets on the British Empire to pulling down one's pants on demand. This is sickening and disgusting. Additionally, we should feel a deep empathy for the millions of still proud Brits who must realize that their chance to turn any of this around is over. They have been effectively disarmed. There is now nothing dissenting Englishmen and women can do. They are helpless. So every time you hear some American advocate for socialism, multiculturalism, political correctness, or gun control spouting off, bring the pathetic image of this photograph to mind. This is where America is heading. Anyone who denies it is either a fool or a liar. Thank you, Great Britain, for providing a warning about what's to come.